Okay. Should I hit a tab or my entire screen?
Entire screen. And then it should come up with your whole screen. Click on it. Click on the picture and click present.
Alright.
That's it. Good job.
Thanks. Then.
Alright. Now, if you want to go to your that tab we were doing in class. Remember, we got to it through calendar.
Okay, it's still loading. Do you mind giving me 1 second?
That's right. We're patient.
Wait, Bubba. Can you come quick, hurry, run. Wait, come. Wait, hon, how do I, is this working?
What is?
Is it working? Is it on?
What did you do?
Is it on?
Did you push the button, the red button?
Yes. Is it on?
I'm on camera. I'm not on camera.
Hey, don't talk.
How's it coming?
Good. Can you just give me 1 minute, please?
Sure.
Sorry, something happened.
Oh, alright.
Okay.
There it is. Alright, and it's still going to be the same code.
Okay, no capitals, right?
No capitals, yeah. So the first two questions have to do with observation and inference. Do you remember the difference between them?
An observation is using your 5 senses, and then an inference is, what's it called? Like, kind of,
It's a judgment that you're making based on what you hear. Okay?
okay. So, like, kind of like, so like you're, like what, like you think is happening, like based on
Right.
like your, so, basic, like, so kind of like, like, so, it's like an observation, but like with a little more, so it's like, turning your observation into a judgment.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, for instance, we do it all the time, right?
Mhm.
You know, that you're in a car and somebody beeps at you while you're in the car, and then they really fastly race around you, pass you, and as they're passing you, they shake their fist at you. Those are all observations, right?
Yeah.
We might infer that they're mad. We don't know that's true, but based on what we see and hear, we're making that judgment. Okay?
Okay.
So, which of these would be an observation? Something that we could see or hear or smell or feel.
I've seen, wait, hon, why is the cat not eating his food?
Can a
Maybe
question be
he-
an observation?
No.
An observations are questions, so we
Okay, so I think it's the first one because the first one you're using one of your five senses, which are seeing, like you're like seeing that the cat is lying on the neighbor's front porch.
Good. Just like that one. Now the next one asks you to make which one is the inference, the judgment.
Which statement below is an inference? Beverly has a brown smudge on her lower lip.
Now could you see that?
Yes, so it's
Yeah,
not
that's an
gonna be.
observation.
I'm starving, said Beverly.
Could you hear that?
Yes.
So that's an observation.
There are crumbs down the front. Wait, so an inference is like when you're not using your five senses?
What if you're making a decision or judgment
Based
on
off
what
of-
you see, hear, or smell, or what?
Okay.
So there are crumbs down the front of Beverly's shirt. Could you see
No.
that?
Yeah, because you could see that, so no.
Now, based on all
Beverly-
of those things, Beverly ate the chocolate chip cookie.
Yes, I think it's Beverly ate the chocolate chip cookies because you can't see that, but based off of like not seeing the cookies anymore, you could infer that, what's it called, she ate them.
Right. Okay. Now, the next one shows you somebody's setup for an experiment. Now, based on the pictures and the headings in the data table, what do you think their problem was that made them set up the
Choose the
experiment?
statement that is a problem testable, a probable testable problem for the experiment pictured below. If I drop more balls, will the bounce height keep increasing? No, because they're not dropping multiple.
Right.
They're just changing the
they're
height.
not- Right.
Will the height the ball is dropped affect the bounce height? That could be a possible answer. The problem is how the height of the drop affects the height of the bounce. Why are the balls... I think it's the second one.
Right. Now, the second and third ones both use drop height and bounce height, which are the headings in the data table, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we always state the problem as a what?
A prop...
The problem of our
Oh,
experiment.
wait.
We've always
A question?
stated as a question, right? That's what makes the second one better. Okay?
Okay.
Alright.
Question 4. What kind of data would you collect from the experiment pictured below?
So, what would go in those missing spaces?
So qualitative is like your five senses, and then quantitative is what's it called?
Numbers.
Yeah.
The numbers are counted. So, what kind of data would be filled in that data table? Would it be numbers or observations?
Quantitative?
Yeah. What would be filled in? What's that column called? That empty column?
The dependent variable?
No. What's
I mean-
the heading? What's the
Oh,
heading?
bounce height?
Right. And are those going to be numbers?
Yes.
Yeah. So you know that is quantity.
Okay. Thanks. Question 5. Each statement describes a step in the scientific method. Click and drag statements in order from what you would need to be done first from last.
So this is kind of like we did that James Ford, the case of the missing or the sleeping frog, where we said, hey, what out of that list would have had to be done first? Then what would have come next? So we can just kind of click and hold on those double rows of dots and move it up and down.
Jones suspected the amount of rain during a tree's growing season would have an effect on the fall color of leaves based on
Now,
her
if
reading. That's the hypothesis?
that is what he suspects. And is that the first thing you do?
No.
No.
That
So
would be
let's-
the third, right?
Well, keep it there. Well, it's third if they have both of the other things in front. So, we'll see. Jones, okay.
In fall, Joan used colored pencils to record the shade of red leaves. The leaves turned on each tree. Observation?
That looks like recording data, doesn't it?
Oh, okay, recording data.
Right? Doesn't that look like somebody recording data?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So that would definitely come after the hypothesis. So let's keep those there. Go to the third one.
Okay, so can I ask you a quick question? So on the real test, like the actual big test, so on that test, would to do good on it, would we need to memorize the scientific method?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why we've been doing all the work and the steps most games. So that you know. But we're also doing the throw lab so that you can really think about what exactly did I do? Oh, well, we collected data and then we made a lab. And then we, so you can also have some life experience with following the steps to think about too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So,
Okay.
so Joan noticed that, the third one, that the trees watered daily had bright leaves. And doesn't that sound like analysis? Like looking and noticing what's happening?
Wait, that's Joan noticed that the tree. Oh yeah, recording information. Yeah.
Well, that would be looking at the data and noticing things. So,
Oh, analysis.
right, that would be analysis. So that would come after too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Wait.
after she used colored pencils to fill in,
So analysis
then she
is.
would look at it. Well, so Haley, what you're thinking here, that a disconnect is I only have 6 states. I don't have one for every stage of the scientific method. Like the first stage of the scientific method is stating the problem.
Mm-hmm.
None of these are questions. So I don't have the very first one. What you're doing is saying, out of these, what would come first?
Oh, okay.
Okay? So we're saying if the first one is her hypothesis, that would definitely come before collecting data,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then collecting data would come before what you have third would be actually noticing what's happening.
Okay, so everything's in the right place so far.
Well, so far, it's logically in order. Now let's look at the fourth one.
Okay.
What does that sound like to you?
Let me read it quick. John planted 3 maple saplings in identical buckets using the same soil, using the same soil, angle to the sun, amount of water, etc. She watered the first tree every day, the second tree once a week, and the third tree once a month.
What does that sound like? What part of the problem?
Collecting data?
No, they're not collecting data. Doesn't it sound like they're setting up the experiment?
Oh, so
Like they're
the
building
experimental
it.
setup?
Right. So where would that go? Would that go before your hypothesis? After
that-
your
Wait.
When would you set up your experiment?
Oh, that's that's before hypothesis.
Are you sure? Because if you don't have a hypothesis, would you know what to set up?
Oh, Oh, so that's going to be right after hypothesis.
Right. Okay, so let's see how it is so far. So, Joan has a hypothesis. She sets up an experiment to test it. Then she collects data by coloring. And then she states what she notices about the color. So the first one you run, right? Let's look at the fifth one. What is John's about?
Joan found a book on trees and read about how and why tree leaves get their color in the fall.
What does that sound like? When somebody reads or finds information on their topic.
Research
Research. When do we do research?
right
Is
after
that,
the hypothesis.
well, how
Wait, no, before, because you have to have an educate, like you have.
yes, yes. So that goes right before. So that's going to be at the top now. Okay, so we research, then we're able to make our hypothesis, then we set up our experiment, right?
Mhm.
And we collect data, doing the coloring, and then we notice what happens. And then what do you have at the end?
Why aren't the tree leaves the same? Experimental conclusion? I mean,
It's
like,
a question.
question? Okay.
What do we state as a question?
Why aren't the trees the same? I mean,
Right,
why aren't the
but
tree
where do we
leaves the
find
same
the
level?
question in our process? Do we end with a question, or do we start the process having a question?
Do you mind talking a little louder? My computer's really
Sure.
quiet.
Sure. Do we start the scientific method with a question, or do we end it with a question?
You end it with a question.
Well, you can end it, but you also have to start with a question. That's the first thing we do. That's our identifying the problem. Okay, so let's see. You have a question on whether rainfall affects the tree brightness. So then you do research and come up with a hypothesis. Then you set up an experiment,
Mhm.
take data by coloring, and then look at your data and talk about what you see in the data. Does that seem logical?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we did with the grow animals. We had a question. Did tap water grow the animals the longest?
Mhm.
Then we researched the different liquids. Then we came up with a hypothesis. Then we set up our experiment.
Mhm.
We've been collecting data. And then today, we're looking at the data. Sorry about my phone.
It's fine.
We're looking at the data, right?
Mhm.
And we're saying, what do we see in the data? Okay? So we followed the same kind of order of steps, right? So I think that was good. Right? What's our last question?
Based on the information Jen collected in the maple tree investigation, what is a possible conclusion? When maple
Okay, so
tree
let's see. Let's read her analysis. What did Joan notice? What was that last step?
Joan noticed that the tree watered daily had bright red leaves. The tree watered weekly had medium red leaves, and the tree watered monthly had dull red leaves. So, what's it called? The more water it got, the healthier the tree was, and the brighter the leaves were. And the less water it got, the darker the leaves were, and the less healthy it was.
Okay, so which one basically says
One maple research. Second.
okay? Alright, submit that.
Okay. Okay. Thank
All right,
you.
I'm gonna make sure that I have it over here. Now, tomorrow, Sammy, we're gonna do, if you'll go ahead and stop submitting, or stop presenting.
Oh.
Alright, so, tomorrow, alright, we're gonna do another skills practice. A lot like this, okay?
Mhm.
To get used to it. And you're gonna notice on Thursday, you're like, wow, this is really similar to the two practices. So you're gonna have a part where you put things in order again. You're gonna have multiple choice. So we're kind of practicing in the exact way, all right, that I'm gonna have you take the test.
Mhm.
Okay?
Okay.
And then if you feel like there's any area, remember we have the practice,
Mhm.
where that went, at somebody else, right? So if you really feel like, hey, it's the order of the steps, then try some of these again,
Okay.
okay? How does that feel? Does that feel better?
Yeah, and I'll probably do a lot of practicing at home too tonight
Okay.
and tomorrow. So I have two other questions. So, how long will the test? Like, wait, so,
Okay. It's a little longer than the practice. So the practice we had today was only 6 questions.
mhm,
The practice we have tomorrow is 10 questions,
mhm,
right? The test, if I go back here, remember you can scroll down. Here's the test. So the test has what?
25.
9,
Oh,
25, well, you could, there's 9, let's see, 20, 22 questions.
mhm.
Okay? So the test is a little bit longer, but the same thing. Look, multiple choice. You have multiple choice practice today.
Mhm. Okay.
Yes.
And
Did you have matching? We didn't have any matching today, but we will. You had ordering. You had, so we're practicing a lot like the way the test.
so I had another question too. So on the Jamboard, and I was putting my data in to the
Yeah.
graph. So say it was 11.5. Would I just put it 11.5 on the graph, or would I round up to my closest one?
No. No. You only round up. That's a great question. You only round up when you're trying to figure out how you're going to number.
Oh, so like if it was like a giant decimal or something, that's the only time you'd round up?
Right, right. When
Okay.
you say the longest thing I have to grab is 20 and or 25 and I only have 20 lines, that would be 1 point something something. So they're like, that's too hard to count by 1 point every time. I'm just gonna round it to 50. Okay?
Okay.
Alright? But then when you actually do your graph, like on this, what I'm showing you, like let's say your first day went to 9.5. Well, here's line 9. 9.5 would be between here and here. So you would drag this like halfway between those lines.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Uh-huh. And I can always email you if I need help, right?
Right. But
Oh.
also remember right here I have an example Jamboard
Mhm.
where it shows you examples. Like if you're not sure of how to do the graph, here's an example of one.
Okay.
Okay?
Mhm.
Sound good?
Yeah. Wait, so the Jamboards due Thursday, right?
Right. But we still have the conclusion. So after you do the graph and then the analysis piece, then tomorrow we'll finish up with the conclusion. Okay? And then, well, I'll show you how to submit.
Okay.
Okay? Alright? You good to go?
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a great
You're
afternoon.
welcome. Okay, you too. Bye.
Bye. Mhm.
So did you hit the red button when I
Yes.
told you? Let me see. Can I see? Go finish your food. Go finish your food, man.
Wait, did you not?
Did what?
Wait, is it not recording?
No.